So we really haven't been hearing much about the Steam Machine since Valve made that initial announcement and then round of interviews and discussions with different outlets that they did. They dropped a bunch of information which was fun to go through as they were making their media tour. But since then, to close out 2025, it's been kind of radio silent from them. I mean, the most we've heard is that they had to discontinue the Steam Deck, the $400 model, very quietly, by the way, just kind of phased it out of their website. Now you're left with the Steam Deck OLED model. But they haven't really said much about the Steam Machine since then and to start 2026. So when we start seeing information go around today about a leaked Steam Machine price that is causing some sticker shock, it's no wonder that it is spreading online and causing the reactions that it is right now, because in the current climate, it's not hard to believe that this thing would get to that price point, but we have a lot to go over here with all that. So if you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. So from what I can tell, I'd look around to see where exactly this whole thing started, and I believe it was on Reddit, and it's over on the Steam Machine Reddit from what I could see. And this is the leaked Steam Machine price. Now, it's coming, as they say, from one Czech retailer who already seems to have Steam Machine, the 512 gigabyte, listed in a preliminary offer. I took a look quickly at the website, and it's not like I'm familiar with this website at all, right? But smarty.cz, there's been discussion online as to if they are an official Valve distributor. Like, are they officially selling these products for Valve? And it's hard to say. Again, I'm not too familiar with the website, so if you are, let me know down in the comments. But again, people have been kind of going back and forth on it, and currently, when I look at, which we can see there's no price here for the Steam Machine, but if I look at the Steam Deck OLED, this seems to convert over to like $760 US. So it's already much more expensive than what I would be used to buying the Steam Deck OLED for here in the US. So that does give me some pause as to, well, their prices seem to be coming in much higher than what we see for MSRP as it is. So then when I start to take a look more at the Steam Machine 512 gigabyte model and the purported pricing, makes me think it might be a touch high, and maybe, I don't know, a placeholder price. But nonetheless, this is what the page currently looks like with no public pricing on it. However, people of course, are smart. It's the internet. And they did look into the page source and found some pricing to where for the 512 gigabyte Steam Machine model translates roughly to $950 US. That's before tax. And then the 2 terabyte model, just under $1,100 before tax. And you can understand the recoil, the sticker shock of, wait, would Valve really have this thing at $1,000? Because that sounds kind of absurd for this system that people have already been arguing about when it comes to the specs being underwhelming for VRAM, right? 8 gigabytes of VRAM. People are thinking, oh, it needs at least 12 gigabytes. 16 gigabytes DDR5 seems to be less of a conversation. It really just comes down to, I think, the VRAM. And maybe you can look at the GPU and go, oh, well, is that actually going to do 4K? Well, it's 4K with an asterisk, where it's upscaled. Like, that's what it is. They're gonna use FSR to get it there. Okay. But maybe if it's a good 1440p or even 1080p and more demanding games, if it's in a big screen in the living room with HDR support, maybe you won't necessarily notice it as much with FSR. Still though, $1,000, that is going to be a tough one if that is the case. And I say if that is the case because, I mean, to me, I think it's pretty clear this is a placeholder price that's put in place on the back end here with the page source, so that when the full price gets announced, the official one by Valve, that they would then put the price in here and they'd be set and ready to go. Or I guess if they decide that, it has to be marked up or whatever it is for the region, there you go. That's what's going to come out to. I still think this Steam Machine will come in at, I'm still sitting at $700 for this. Okay. And I know it's hard to believe more and more as the days go on, because everything's just getting more expensive. I mean, we see what's happening with the DRAM squeeze currently, and it's like every other day there's a new press release or a new announcement to prepare for more prices to go up. I think Samsung made an announcement earlier today that TVs will probably be affected by the DRAM squeeze going on, which I will say this for TVs. Everything has gone up in price substantially in our lifetime. I kind of feel like TVs have actually gone down in price. I don't know, that sounds weird, but I remember back in the day, plasma TVs were 3 grand for a 40 something inch TV. And now you walk through Walmart and they're a couple $100 for 40 some odd inch TV. And I'm not saying it's the greatest quality, but it's something to think about there on that end. It's just interesting. That's the one thing in entertainment that feels like it's actually gone down in price, despite it being, I mean, just integral for any home entertainment setup. It kind of starts with, for a lot of people, with the TV or display. But nonetheless, $1,000 for a Steam machine, I think is a non-starter in development. Like, it wouldn't leave the whiteboard. It would go on the back burner and they'd be like, well, we'll come back to it if we can get it under $800. That's kind of what I think the roof is right now for Valve with this device is 800. And I still think there are some tricks or added value they can do if it has to go up to 800. The Steam machine could be a really, really cool system. I mean, obviously you don't have to pay to play online. It has open-endedness of it also being a PC, yes, running on Linux, but I got to tell you, I've been going down the rabbit hole of Linux a bit right now on a lower power new laptop that I picked up, and it's quite robust. There's a lot going on there. But let's say they do have to go up to 800. I think they could maybe pack in a game like they did with their Steam Index, where they had Half-Life Alyx. There's belief that there is a Half-Life game, so Half-Life 3 gets thrown in, paired with the Steam machine, and maybe they go, hey, it's 800, but you get this new game that you'd probably buy for the $60 or $70 price tag anyway. Maybe they throw in the Steam controller that we're still not really sure if it comes with it, but hey, it comes with the controller, comes with Half-Life 3, and it's 800 for the 512 gigabyte model. I still think you're kind of on the, like, right on the edge of this might be getting a little expensive there for a lot of people, because there's this fine line that Valve is trying to, I mean, basically thread the needle on. On one side, you have the mainstream, who there is a sticking point for price, and I do think 700 would be testing it. 800, absolutely. Once you get to that $1,000 range, that side of the high wire act goes, you know what? That's just too expensive. We're going to pass on this, because it is kind of taking a chance on a new device like that. And it is drawing direct comparisons to the PlayStation 5, the Switch 2, or the Xbox. All of those sit well below $1,000. And when you get, I think, above that mark, the enthusiast is like, hey, I could probably take that money and, even buying older parts, come up with a better system that I'll piece together, and it'll just run games better. And you know what? Maybe I can put in a smaller case. I'll get Bazite with SteamOS, load it on there myself, and have the option to customize much, much more than what I could do with something like this Steam machine. But I guess here's the good news with this whole thing, right? So while I don't believe this is the correct price for the Steam machine, it does give Valve a little bit of market research there by accident. I mean, they can kind of see that, okay, maybe the $1,000 price tag isn't going to work on paper. Putting that out there, even if we add stuff in, that's going to cause some sticker shock. So they at least have a quick little test run almost without it doing anything. And I still think coming in at $800 or less is probably the best move, just based on the DRAM situation, because they're not pricing things for right now. Like, they already have, I'm sure, have allocated a significant amount of DDR5. Remember, it's 16 gigabytes DDR5 in the Steam machine, and it sounds like it's 2 8 GB sticks would be my understanding, as it is slotted in RAM. It's not soldered directly to the board. So I would assume they have plenty that's allocated for the launch. They're going to be pricing things out for the next 24 months, you could say, because it would be a shame if they launch the system and then 6 months later if they have to raise the price. So they may as well get that out of the way now, or sooner rather than later, right? Because then that'll be a whole thing to have to deal with, like, still early on in the life of this system. So we'll see. I'm hoping we hear about this soon with the pricing on it, the release date. I'm really curious to see where Valve comes in on this whole thing. And I'm still thinking it's 700 just kind of by itself, but I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility that they go up to 800 and include a few things to make it feel like you're getting a lot for the money. But we'll see, hopefully here pretty soon. Let me know what you guys think about this one down below. Is it crazy to consider the Steam machine as a $1,000 machine? Would Valve actually test that theory? Because I think that would be kind of insane if they did, but hey, maybe people would pick it up for $1,000. So I guess we'll find out. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.